Did you know that Bitcoin could skyrocket in value in 2025? I know right now the market seems a little bit soft and going down in the wrong direction, but 2025 is really poised to be one of the best years ever for Bitcoin and crypto. Hi, I'm Mark from the Bitcoin Tutor, and today we're going to cover why I believe this is the case. So let's just jump right in. The first is the supply and demand argument. Like all things, if there's fewer of something and more people want them, the price goes up. For Bitcoin, with the latest halving that happened last year in 2024, only 450 Bitcoins are being mined per day. Yet, according to the latest information online here, institutions have been buying up on average in 2024 1,870 Bitcoins every day. That's more than 4 times the amount of Bitcoin that's being created now. It's crazy, which means eventually, even if the price is coming down right now, if that demand continues, people are going to be seeing much higher prices for Bitcoin. And, institutions sometimes play their own little market games to try to lower the price so they can buy more at a more favorable price. So there's a good chance that's what's going on. So two things covered right here: supply and demand. When there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever to be created, and big companies are buying up 1,800 of them a day, eventually they're going to hit the limit. So that means that the price must continue to go up. Um, there's also some notable institutional participants, and by that I mean some companies that are really making a difference and really standing up on this. Of course, is MicroStrategy, which is Michael Saylor's company, and in fact, according to the news here, they hold over 2% now of the total Bitcoin supply, and the last estimate that was worth around $40 billion. And the company plans to raise another $2 billion to acquire even more Bitcoin. So, they say follow the money, and certainly the smart money. People who are in companies who are investing huge amounts of money that can make a difference for you. Another company is Franklin Templeton, a well known institutional investor. You may even have a mutual fund or some other ETF through them. This firm anticipates that several nations will adopt Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset this year in 2025. So far, only one country has done that, and that's El Salvador. And that they made a big commitment to Bitcoin as an alternative currency. And just to give you a little on El Salvador, one of the reasons that makes sense for them is they gave up their own currency years ago, and they've been using, believe it or not, the US dollar within their country. And that really removes a lot of the uh, capability to manage monetary policy. And they become basically a victim, if you will, of US policy. At least with Bitcoin, now we're talking about a algorithmic policy that no one's going to play games, no one's going to be printing more, and all of that. So El Salvador realizes that. But which other countries will do it? President Trump has suggested that that would be one of his administration's goals to build a strategic reserve, despite the outgoing administration's goals to try to scuttle 69 million bitcoins acquired by the Silk Road. I'm sure that's not an accident. There's a lot of deep state in Washington that don't want that to happen. People who want the U.S. dollar because they have control. But Trump realizes that we're heading into a new world, and his advisors have rightly recommended that the U.S. have a strategic reserve. And if so, others will follow. And of course, if every country wants Bitcoin, it'll drive the price up. A couple other things. Because of this, that or with the other reasons for this is the Bitcoin halving cycle has made a big difference. We've talked about this before, but every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoins that get created get cut in half. So as I mentioned earlier, only 450 Bitcoins are being created per day. And in 4 years, that goes down again to 225 per day. So it becomes more and more rare. So the Bitcoin halving cycle is a big issue. But beside that, there's a historical trend that a year after the Bitcoin halving cycle, in fact, not quite a year after, we see a massive massive increase in the price of Bitcoin, and then it trickles down to Ethereum, major altcoins, mid cap altcoins, and then the more uh, long shot, if you will, cryptos. So we see that money coming in through Bitcoin, and then eventually it starts moving into the other cryptos. And we're really poised to see that this year in 2025. The history is our guide, and it has been our guide for the last three cycles, and this would be the fourth major cycle. There's also a fixed supply, another reason why Bitcoin's price could go up. There are only 21 million coins ever to be mined from Bitcoin, and almost 20 have been mined already, 20 million. Out of those, at least 1, maybe 2 million have been lost forever. And that's because keys were lost or computers were lost, especially in the early days of Bitcoin, when people saw it as basically worthless. You got to remember, Bitcoin started at less than a penny, and today is uh, around $100,000 and likely to go much higher. There's also other drivers of Bitcoin value. There's growing adoption that people want to use Bitcoin as part of their portfolio, as 5%, maybe 10% of their portfolio to help hedge against inflation. So many governments are devaluing their currency, and this is something that they can do to help manage their risk. Just like people would hold gold and silver, Bitcoin is becoming the digital gold. There's also the issue about counterparty risks. When you hold a stock, for example, you're really dependent on that company doing the right thing. You're depending on that company not having negative news or doing something badly or having a down quarter economically. When you're looking at gold, silver, and cryptos, there's no counterparty. If you own the coin, that's it. It's like owning digital gold. There is no other party where you're dependent on a performance that they do or some business activity that they must do. So that's really important. There's also risks because of regulation. Although, if you look at what's happening in the US right now, it's very likely to be more positive for the first time, actually, in the history of Bitcoin, that we're going to see the US, which leads a lot of the policy, as well as the European Union, to have more positive policies about Bitcoin and to welcome it in among different stores of value. So, certainly, there's an expression that, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That might be the way the US is thinking about this. It might be best to just embrace Bitcoin and put it in its place rather than have the Bitcoin momentum take control. So this way, there's some level of control that each country and each company can have by having a certain amount of Bitcoin on their ledgers. Finally, if you need to learn more about this, I invite you to one of the best courses about investing safely in Bitcoin. It's called Secure Crypto Blueprint, and the link is down in the description below. I've continued my discount right now because we're in the bull market, 60% off. This course is 60% off for the time being, and I really want you to get involved. This can be life-changing for you and your family with Bitcoin and with other cryptocurrencies. It isn't just about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the gold of precious metals or of cryptocurrencies, and there are many, many others that will be have very strong positions in the future. So, if you'd like to join me, I'd love to have you in the course. The course is at your own pace. It's online. Has some great comments from folks that have taken the course over the last couple of years. And again, the focus is on investing safely and securely. So please join me. The link is down below with Secure Crypto Blueprint. Let's go Bitcoin, and please make your decision to be involved in the crypto world.